6:13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
All right, we're looking at the sunrise on the way here for Dublin this morning. It's going to be rising on a very warm day across central Georgia. We'll talk about the details of that coming up.
Stopping underage alcohol sales, a priority in Jones County. The violations the sheriff's office found.
Plus, new details coming in a deadly North Georgia accident that killed 2 Fort Benning soldiers. What Army officials say happened as the soldiers shelter themselves from the weather.
And just ahead in today's Scene 13, how the terrible loss of her mom to cancer inspired a Central Georgia actress to follow her passion. Her story is just ahead.
Good Thursday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the city of Dublin. The time is now 6:31 a.m. on this August the 11th. Happy Baby Friday. I'm Wanye Reese.
And I'm Caitlin Heck. A beautiful start to the day down there in Dublin.
Definitely. I'm loving to see these sunrises each morning.
I know, definitely loving those. Not loving the temperatures that come after the sunrises though, Alex.
Yeah, and that humidity as well that comes after the sunrise. But yeah, a lot of overcast skies across central Georgia this morning. We've seen that across the satellite picture, and really as we head into the morning hours, we're going to be holding on to that for at least until about 10 or 11 o'clock. 72 in Lawrence County right now, a dew point of 70. We're looking at 73 in Gordon, 72 in Dublin, 71 in Sandersville, and 70 over in Thomaston this morning. The dew points, they're up there where you see all those arrows coming from the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic, indicative of some moist air. We are seeing sprinkles in a few spots this morning as well, say down towards Houston County, Macon County, then also over towards Johnson County and Shrutland County this morning. But yesterday, many showers and storms came through the area. We saw them really move from the south to the north. You can see there parts of Wilkinson County, Lawrence County getting in on the action and picked up some much needed rainfall, or not necessarily much needed, but beneficial rainfall, generally speaking, a ½ inch to an inch, with a few spots getting over an inch of rain. Today we're headed for a high temperature of 87. The average high is 93. We've got more storms on the way. Beginning after the noon hour, we'll go hour by hour on Future View coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Alex. Right now, the Jones County Sheriff's Office is cracking down on businesses potentially selling alcohol to underage buyers.
They say they received complaints, particularly from parents, about liquor stores selling to underage buyers. Well, this week, the Sheriff's Office checked them out by sending in an underage person.
Lieutenant Kenny Gleaton says 9 out of the 19 businesses that sell alcohol in the county failed the test.
In these locations, the clerks failed to even ask the undercover agent to produce an ID. So in these particular instances, it wasn't a matter of they got fooled by a really good fake. They didn't even ask to see one.
One of the stores that got a citation is the MBM Market on Joycliff Road. The owner says his business has been checked many times and they've passed.
He says this time he wasn't there supervising his employee.
It was his mistake of making the transaction and not waiting on me. We will go ahead and pay because it is a mistake.
Lieutenant Gleaton says violations like this can affect the business's license to sell alcohol. The license could get revoked or refused renewal.
Gleaton says when they performed the compliance check last year, they only found 2 stores in violation.
Well, now to 3 other headlines we're following this morning. A former band director at a Monroe County school now indicted on 22 counts, including charges of sexual exploitation of children and electronically furnishing obscene material to minors. We first reported on this case back in December when Monroe County investigators arrested Miles Benson. The sheriff's office says they got a complaint of sexually explicit material sent between Benson and a juvenile who was previously his student at Mary Persons High School. The indictment says communication happened on more than a dozen different dates between August 2020 and December 2021. District Attorney Jonathan Adams says the school system let Benson resign. As of right now, no trial date's been set.
6:34 a.m. We have new information this morning on a downtown Macon bus crash involving the Transit Authority. Last month, a Macon-Bibb Transit Authority bus hit a car in the intersection of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Cherry Street. A crash report from the Bibb County Sheriff's Office shows the driver of an SUV was making a left turn from MLK onto Cherry. The driver let a log truck through and tried to make the turn as the light turned from yellow to red. Then the report says that's when an MTA bus ran the red light and hit the SUV. The Sheriff's Office says several people went to the hospital that day. This morning, the family of Breonna Greer will hold a funeral in Atlanta. Greer is a Hancock County woman who died days after deputies say she fell from their cruiser. It came after her family called the Hancock County Sheriff's Office in mid-July for help because Greer was experiencing a mental health crisis. The family says the funeral happens at 11 a.m. at West Hunter Street Baptist Church in Atlanta. Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver the eulogy for Greer. The family's attorney, Ben Crump, will also be there to deliver a call to action with Tamika Palmer. She's the mother of Breonna Taylor, who Louisville, Kentucky police shot and killed while executing a no-knock warrant in 2020. Findings from an independent autopsy revealed that Breonna Greer suffered head injuries that led to her death. The GBI is still investigating this morning.
6:35, let's catch you up on your state news. We now know the names of the 2 Fort Benning soldiers who died Tuesday after a weather-related situation in North Georgia. Army officials identified them as 2nd Lieutenant Evan Fitzgibbon and Staff Sergeant George Tabor. Officials later clarified they died after a fallen tree hit them on Yonah Mountain near Dahlonega. They were sheltering after their training got put on hold because of the weather. Army officials say 3 other Ranger candidates got hurt and went to a hospital. Atlanta rapper Young Thug, who's accused of conspiracy to violate Georgia's RICO Act and participation in criminal street gang activity, now faces 6 new felony charges. That's along with 4 others linked to the case. A new indictment got filed in Fulton County Superior Court last week against the artist, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports some of the additional charges include violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony.
Stacey Abrams' campaign says a Democratic candidate for governor has tested positive for COVID-19. They made the announcement yesterday morning saying she had mild symptoms. Abrams' campaign said that she is fully vaccinated and is tested daily. They added that she tested negative on Monday and again on Tuesday before her Georgia Thrive speech, where she outlined her vision for the state's economy. Our station in Atlanta reports that today Republican Governor Brian Kemp plans to announce another round of state checks issued to taxpayers because of a huge surplus. It's the 2nd time this year that this has happened. WXIA reports that it's likely to be a 2-pronged tax rebate, one for people who pay income taxes and another for those who've been seeing their property taxes soar during the real estate boom. Speaking of the governor, during a news conference yesterday, he proclaimed a record year for economic development in our state. It came a day after Abrams announced her economic plan for the Peach State. You can read more about both of these stories right now on our website. That's at 13WMAZ.com.
While the tropics have been fairly quiet this year, we shouldn't let our guards down. Almost all Atlantic's tropical activity happens after August 1st, and I'll explain why.
All right, well, the time is now 6:37 a.m. here on your Thursday morning. A huge shout out to Twiggs County this morning.
Yes.
To all the students, educators, and teachers out there. Alex paid them a visit.
Yes, I got a very special day.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun yesterday out in Twiggs County. We talked to the 4th graders there at Jeffersonville Elementary. We talked about hurricanes, tornadoes, cold fronts, warm fronts, you named it. We talked about it. The kids asked lots of questions, and it was a great visit out there in Twiggs County yesterday. And something that was really important, almost all of them knew where Twiggs County was on a map. That's really important as we talk about the weather here in central Georgia. So enjoyed visiting out there at Jeffersonville Elementary School yesterday. All right, let's take a live look this morning at what's going on across central Georgia. Here's Dublin. We've got decent storm chances today and tomorrow with lower humidity through the weekend. Highs, they're also trending below average, so some good news on that front. Across the area this morning, we're waking up to temperatures in the 70s. 71 in Warner Robins, 72 in Cochran, 72 in McRae, 74 in Soperton, and 69 in Monticello this morning. We do have a wind off of the Atlantic Ocean and from the Gulf of Mexico this morning. That means our air is still on the humid side of things. And as we head through the day today, that humidity is going to give way to some showers and storms. Down along the Gulf of Mexico, looking at showers and storms this morning from the Big Bend to Florida on over towards the New Orleans and Houston area. Some more scattered showers across the southeast with temperatures in the 70s for the most part this morning. But as we head into the day today, these overcast skies we're seeing now, again, going to give way to some showers and storms. Beginning right around the noon hour, areas down to the south, but as I play this through the afternoon, you're not going to see a ton of activity per se, but like I was saying yesterday morning, even though Future View is showing this, I know we have a lot of moisture in the air, and because of that, we're going to have that to work with through the afternoon hours, which means we could be looking at showers and storms across the area. In fact, I'd say that they're likely. We could see gusty winds, small hail, maybe some frequent lightning at times. The general motion will be from south to north, and then once we get into tomorrow, that's when the pattern begins to change, and we see a reversal of that as a cold front works its way in. Notice these showers and storms coming in from the north. That's the actual front arriving and making it all the way through central Georgia. So it's a summertime cold front. It's not necessarily going to make our air cold, but it is going to dry us out and drop our rain chances as we head into the weekend. Perfect timing, right? It's always beneficial to get that on a Saturday or Sunday. Here we go with about a 10% chance of rain on Sunday. Then into next week, the humidity begins to return and the scattered shower and storm threat begins to return as well. So 87 today, 88 tomorrow, back into the 90s by next Monday. But for today, more storms after about the noon hour. Our average high is 93, so we're going to be below that today and through the next few days. Sunrise officially at 6:55, and the next 3 days shape up like this. We've got 88 for tomorrow, again with a 60% chance of rain as that front rolls on through. But then for the weekend, only a 20% chance of rain on Saturday. That's down to 10% on Sunday with highs in the upper 80s, the lower humidity. So the highs will be in the upper 80s and it will actually feel like the upper 80s out there thanks to the humidity taking a break for its time here in central Georgia. But as we get into next week, the humidity is going to be making a comeback with high temperatures in the low 90s on Monday and Tuesday. And then next Wednesday, back down into the 80s. 89 is what I have forecasted, but we could easily hit 90, 91. So even though that day is lower on the next 7 days, it's something to take note of. But the break from the humidity is on the way for the weekend, and we will certainly be welcoming that here in central Georgia.
Thank you, Alex. Before we go to break, check this out with us. Georgia law enforcement hopes votes fuel them to victory in the annual Best Looking Cruiser contest. It's through the American Association of State Troopers. Georgia State Patrol previously won in 2016, 2017, and 2020 to take the title and earn the prize-covered spot on the national calendar. Now they're looking to add a win this year to go along with other victories for the Peach State, like the Georgia Bulldogs national championship win. And of course, we cannot forget, Caitlin, our Atlanta Braves World Series victory.
That's right, 2 big wins, and this could be a third. Their photo features their new Camaro and Dodge Challenger Pursuit cars with the championship trophies under the arching oaks at Wormslow Historic Site near Savannah. You'll find a link to vote in this story on 13WMAZ.com. They lead the voting, but it is still early. We'll post this story a little bit later on this morning. We're back with more news and weather right after this.